money is everything behind the new law in the state of Georgia, jumping the gun on as we wait for a federal law for name, image, and likeness benefits for college athletes. Now, at first, I'm thinking, this is great. This is what we've been waiting for. College athletes can go make some money on endorsement deals, except the universities are allowed to take up to 75% of the endorsement money. And now I'm thinking, wait, are they the marketing agents and event promoters? Well, they say they want to spread the love to the teammates. I mean, Gary, it's like they're putting the money in their pockets and they're taking it away at the same time.
Yeah, it's a flawed bill, but I think ultimately what we're talking about here will amount to absolutely nothing. The way the bill is written, that Governor Brian Kemp signed into law this week, it'll go into effect July 1st, does, as you accurately point out, allow the universities to take up to 75% of endorsement deals that student athletes secure, but it doesn't require them to do it. And so Georgia and Georgia Tech intelligently have already announced they will not be doing that at all. Not only will they not take 75%, they won't take 1%, they won't take 1 penny. And the reason behind that is obvious. These laws are going to go into place in different states at different times. But, eventually Florida is going to have one. California is going to have one. Other states, until we get a federal law, if we get a federal law that supersedes all state laws, and that is what the NCAA wants. But in the meantime, this is going to get complicated. And if you're the University of Georgia or Georgia Tech, you would not want to be living in a world where a student athlete knew if he went to, say, Florida, he could keep 100% of any endorsement deal he secures. But if he went to Georgia, that school might take 75% of his money and redistribute it to other student athletes. So Georgia and Georgia Tech have both quickly got out in front of this and said, regardless of what the bill will allow us to do, we will not take a penny away from our student athletes to try to spread it around. So it's a big headline and a big story. It got a lot of attention, but the fact that Georgia and Georgia Tech aren't going to take advantage of it, I think it makes it mostly a non-issue.
Yeah, which is good to hear because the star players will be recruited and they'll be told, oh, no, you'll get to keep more of it. I'm the fat guy. I'm the lineman. No, I want more trickle down. Spread the love around. No one's hiring out the lineman unless it's for the calendar shoot, of course. First of all, Hartford, they just had their first NCAA tournament appearance. John Gallagher was media star. Division I basketball team. Not anymore. The school has announced they're going from D1 to D3 as early as 2025. Athletes in all their sports are very upset right now. What was your reaction to this news that really hurts even more because of that tournament appearance?
Yeah, I think that's what makes it as big a story as it is that, John Gallagher, who is one of the really great guys in college basketball and somebody I've known for years, he's taken his time, put real sweat and time into building that Hartford basketball program, into something relevant, into something people can be proud of, into something that, yes, just a few months ago made the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history. So to get this news now is undeniably deflating, not just for the student athletes, but for John and his staff. The motivation here seems to be surprise, surprise money. There is a report that suggests, Hartford can, as a school, save $9 million annually by going to D3. And so I won't pretend that I don't understand the finances of it. I get it, but that doesn't make it any less disappointing for the people who will be impacted by this. There are student athletes and coaches and even students, I would assume, who went to Hartford under the impression that this is a Division I school. And now very soon, it's just not going to be. And that changes a lot of people's lives and not necessarily in good ways.
No, and it'd be with the exception of, I'd say, the Ivy Leagues and a handful of schools that wouldn't be impacted if they didn't have big-time sports in the public eye because they built an extra dorm at Colgate when Donald Foyle was there. It has an impact. Let's recap. Let's get into this week that we've had in sports. It's been a little weird. I've had to pull back the reins on my feelings about what happened here with Aaron Rodgers because I thought it was his idea to put all this stuff out on draft night that he wants out of Green Bay. And maybe they can fix it. His former teammate James Jones says that the situation in Green Bay is fixable. But otherwise, it seems like the Packers are looking for more quarterbacks besides Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers, clearly, he's not been happy. Gary, what's your take on this whole thing going back to when the Packers traded up to draft Jordan Love?
Well, that seems to be the catalyst for everything that's going on right now, is a colossal misstep by that front office. You know, heading into the 2020 NFL draft, the Packers were coming off an appearance in the NFC Championship game. Aaron Rodgers was 36 years old, and he had said leading up to that draft that he planned to play into his 40s. And considering he plays a position where men are playing into their 40s now, that seems very, very possible. He also made it clear publicly that he wanted them to finally, just once, use their first-round pick on an offensive weapon that could maybe help him get to another Super Bowl. And then they used their first-round pick on a quarterback, literally the only position that can't help Aaron Rodgers get to a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl. Like, he wanted them to take a running back or a receiver, an offensive lineman. But even if they take a defensive lineman or a cornerback or a safety or a linebacker or a punter or a kicker, any of those things can help Aaron Rodgers. A backup cannot help Aaron Rodgers. So he became obviously frustrated by that, and it seems to have just carried over even throughout last season, in which he won an MVP. So listen, if people close to Aaron Rodgers say that this is still fixable, I'll assume that it is fixable. But the idea that you have to fix this is absolutely ridiculous. The Green Bay Packers did this to themselves, and now they're paying a big, big price.
Yeah, it almost felt like when A-Rod opted out during the World Series, the way the news came down and was reported during draft time. But yeah, it feels like who's the boss. Although I would love to see if maybe Jeopardy could audition Jordan Love as their celebrity host next and really spice things up a little bit.